and buying time, killing people next in line. Lower class and social slime, they don't matter. Genocide, sick from water, sick from air. Making money, they don't care. Caesar shit, force of air. Fuck them back, it's only for they war. They shoot, they kill, they massacre, rape. They burn the kids, no one makes countries. Laugh to your face, fight and die, 'cause God forgives. Selling lies and buying time, killing people next in line. Lower class and social slide, they don't matter. Genocide, sick from water, sick from air. Making money, they don't care. See the shit, force a bear. Fuck them back, that's only fair. They bomb, they shoot, they kill, they massacre, rape. They burn the kids, no one makes countries. Lie to your face, fight and die, 'cause God forgives. Yeah. Coming back around again.
Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Ron Stevens. This is Rock the Boat on UCY.tv and AKA still in the header there. Game on. Anyways, I'm a host for the next hour, and I'm just so sick and tired of the bull crap. Bull crap number one for today. Heat warning. Hot weather moved into the region today, bringing maximum temperatures. This is my little hometown, Kincardine, Ontario, on Lake Huron. And then this is the Weather Network, the buffoon weather. No, it says. That's what it says. No, comma, this extreme heat isn't normal. Details and when it'll be 40 degrees here. Well, it ain't 40 degrees here. That's a given. And it's not normal. It's, first of all, not extreme heat. First of all, that's the first mistake. It ain't extreme heat. It says right now it's 27 degrees. And so the extreme heat they're talking about is already here because it says it moved into the region today. Well, that's hardly extreme heat. Now, back in the 80s, when we were running a construction company, we had a couple of years there in the late 80s that made today look cold. And we were golfing in February, for crying out loud. We golfed up to somewhere in January, and then got a little bit of snow, and then we're back on the golf course February, early March. Anyways, I've been keeping track of this a little bit, and the record high for today was 33.3. That was in 1936. And the last 3 days, it's record high temperatures have always been in the 1930s. Before that, the 2 weeks before that, I've been checking it pretty regular, and the highest temperatures were in the 1880s. That's when the ice was melting. That's when they were all hep up about the Northwest Passage. They were all happy because the frickin' ice was melting. Every one of these climate sciences ought to be nailed to a frickin' tree until they get their brains working right. I am so sick of this pseudo-science garbage. It is ridiculous. But then we have pseudo-law, quasi-law, called the legal system, which is just as ridiculous as the weather forecasting. It's all fraud, all of it. And it is all designed to deceive you, so to speak. Now, today, actually, I got some good news. I got some really good news. Maybe I don't know if Kathy's online or not. I did get an update on Minister Robin, who sees his butt parked in Fort Saskatchewan Rehab Center. And I got an update here at about 6 o'clock. And for those who are concerned about Robin, here's an update. He called me today and said he was at Fort Saskatchewan, and one of the head workers there recognized him, and he is now getting his distilled water, which was being withheld from him. And he said the nurse is getting him fresh fruit and veggies. Also, some good news. He said he will be getting out on the 20th now and not the 31st. They don't really want him there. I don't even know what they picked him up for. All it's going to do is make Robin more resolute in his effort to shine light on this fraudulent system of law that they say that we're bound by. So that's some good news out of Fort Saskatchewan, and Robin has done some pretty remarkable work over the years, and if they don't nail him to a cross, they ain't going to shut him up and they ain't going to put him down. The whole idea is that you get beat up, intimidated, and then you give up. Fortunately, more and more people are coming forward all the time who have no intentions of quitting or giving up. And I want to thank people like Robin, who has dedicated himself for decades now to get to the bottom of this and to shine light upon the fraud that we call the legal system. So hats off to Robin. I'm glad he's getting his water, and I'm glad the nurse there is getting him some fresh fruit and vegetables, which he depends upon for his health of his intestinal tract. Now, there's all kinds of weird stories, like I've been working on stuff all day, and I made a call to two courthouses, one in Belleville, Ontario, and one in where was the other one did I make? I made two calls anyways at two separate courthouses today. And both of them, when I got to the point, everything was going fine. What I wanted to do was get my ticket numbers or my case numbers, so I can finish up my letter and send it off to the Attorney General here in Ontario and the Chief Justice, who knows damn well what they're doing is absolutely outside both the legal and the law systems. The Chief Justice appoints these justices of the peace who are not lawyers, and they sit on the POA courts, or the provincial offenses courts, and which has now been renamed the municipal provincial offenses courts, to give legal opinion on traffic tickets and whatnot. So you go into court, you got a traffic ticket, call it a speeding ticket, that's what I had. Call it a speeding ticket, and you have a Crown attorney there, the prosecutor, who's a lawyer, and you have the defendant, that would be me or you, and then the Justice of the Peace sitting on the bench. Now, the Crown attorney knows that the Justice of the Peace can't give a legal opinion because he's not a lawyer, not a bar member. He knows this. The Chief Justice, who appointed this guy, who could be anything from a garbage man to an ex-school teacher, who is not versed in law, does not have a license to practice law. It's against the law to practice law without a license, but there they sit. So I called on Friday, I called the Attorney General's office to make sure that a traffic ticket is, in fact, a legal document, which they confirmed it was. Well, if it's a legal document, it's a legal charge, then one must give a legal opinion on that charge, because you're going to find me or someone else guilty or not guilty of this so-called offense. And that requires a legal opinion. of which they are prohibited from giving. But there they sit. So anyways, I was having a pretty good conversation with the gals at the courthouse, or the POA administration offices. Oh yeah, one was in Owen Sound, one was in Belleville, Ontario, which I have business with. Not by my choice. And this has been going on actually since 2012. I'm a very patient man, really. I haven't been walking since 2012. I've been walking since 2014 because I was not driving 4.5 hours to go fight a ticket, which was illegally given to me, and drive 4.5 hours out of my way to go fight this thing. And that's agreed by the courthouse way back then, that it appears that the police are handing out tickets, somehow coding cars or plates, knowing that they're from outside the area, and who's going to drive that far to fight a freaking traffic ticket? So we just pay the ticket. I don't work that way. But what it's done is it given me a whole lot of reason to figure out what the hell's actually going on here. And there's been a lot of digging, a lot of calls, a lot of conversations with government lawyers and people at the Law Society, and so on and so forth. And they verified everything that has come to me. I just keep reading the stuff, and I don't tend to watch people's videos, and I don't tend to listen to anybody. I just go find out for myself, and it's safer that way. Or if I do hear something, I'll go back check it and make sure it's right. That's what's wrong with this internet thing right now. Too many people are just looking for somebody else to do the research for them. And I know it's difficult and takes a long time. It's a pain in the ass. I get all that stuff. But today when I was talking to the two POA courts or administrative bodies, as soon as I got to the part about the justices, the one lady in Belleville, she went right off the deep end, and I don't want to hear this, I can't hear this, yada yada yada, and just started butting in, and it kind of reminds me of when I was in court, and I asked the justice who was charged when he was reading out the charge, me or the title, and at that point the Crown Attorney went apeshit and started freaking out and butting in on the justice and that. I didn't quite understand what was going on at the minute. I do now. And he wanted this out of there because that's who was charged, me. It wasn't me that was charged. It was the title that was charged. And I asked a question. They can't answer the question. So everybody vacates, right? And then they said a new trial and another new trial until finally I fed up and leave. And then they find me guilty in absenteeism. But so the first lady I was talking to at Belleville got all uppity as hell and told her that I wanted to speak to her supervisor. She hung up, very unprofessional. And I called back. I got another lady, explained what happened, and she was good until I brought up the justices of the peace and the fact that they're prohibited from giving legal. And then she started butting in and freaking out and yelling and carrying on something terrible, and told her to get me her supervisor. So she got the head clerk, who phoned me back at home, and we talked about 6 months before, and went through this stuff again. And again, when we get there, all of a sudden the conversation's coming to a quick close. And that happened at the administrative court in Owen Sound. But what I was explaining to the lady, the head clerk in Belleville, is that you guys are in cahoots with this, because nothing can get into the court without the clerks. All the paperwork's got to go through the clerks before it can go anywhere else. Okay? And so you're shoveling paper over to the justice of the peace in provincial offenses court, and you have to know that these guys aren't lawyers. And as clerks, you have to know you need a license to adjudicate law. And they don't much care for that stuff either. But it was interesting, and I'll put my letters together now out to the Attorney General's office, and I did talk to them Friday again when I got back from Michael Schmidt's court case. And she said that she had sent emails out to the appropriate parties, and that they were supposed to get working on this ASAP and figure out a way for me to get back on the road, because I am not ever paying the tickets. And the one lady, she said at one of the administrative offices she said, there's no statute of limitations on these tickets. And I said, that's fine. She said, well, like it's been a while. And I said, well, I ain't paying you. And she said, yeah, but that little in 10 years from now, and 20 years from now, it'll still be there. And I said, well, that's fine. We can put it on my headstone, right? When I die, we'll put the ticket numbers or the court case numbers on my headstone. And it'll go nicely along with my all-cap name on the headstone. And maybe somebody passing by will say, aha, I get it, which would be nice. Anyways, we'll keep up to date on that. I'm just really glad that Robin's getting his food and his water and that. That's a good thing. Now, there's a video here I didn't watch. I'm not going to watch it. It's on the Globe and Mail here in Canada. Front and center, we have the front page of the Globe and Mail. We have nothing Canadian on it. We have a picture of that black guy down in the States, Obama guy, and his tranny wife. I don't know if she's really a tranny or not, but she's damned ugly anyways. Dallas shootings. We want the unity of hope. Isn't that what he was yammering through the elections? Hope. Well, we hope you all go away, shrivel up, and become raisins somewhere. That's what we hope. We want the unity of hope. U.S. President Obama pays tribute to the Dallas officers at a memorial service. Now, again, I haven't had time. I'm busy doing research now. I haven't had time to dick around that stuff. But I did see a couple of notices that I don't even know how many cops got shot. Was it 11 or something? 11 shot, 5 died? I don't know. But for one or two shooters, whatever the number of shooters was, that's an impossibility. But we got to have gun control, right? So we got to kick off a few cops, so be it. Were they shot? Were they killed? I don't know. Can we do this? Is on the sidebar, another picture of Obama before we even get to any Canadian-type news. Can we do this? Obama asked Americans to come together after the Dallas shooting. Now, this dick is asking Americans to come together. Now, what has America, or not America, excuse me, the United States of America, D.C., and all its people been doing other than conquering America through division, okay? Be it, poverty, be it the army, be it the green movement, be it the gay movement, pick a movement, who cares? Be it the influx of the Islamic groups. Their job is to divide and conquer America, to destroy the society, to destroy the fabric, to destroy the strength of the American people. And then this dick stands at the podium and says, asked Americans to come together after the Dallas shooting. I agree 100%. It is time Americans come together and march down to the White House and arrest these jackasses. They're not even part of America. Get them out of there. Okay? Put a wall around the place. I don't care what you do. Just get them the hell out of there. They have no business on American soil because they ain't American. Freaking corporation took control of all of your assets, all of your people, all of your laws, and used it to subdue the people of America and destroy the society that was built by those who came here. So, pee off, Mr. Obama. What else we got here? Jesus, it says here, hot enough to melt the asphalt. Check out the world's highest record temperatures. I don't care. But I do care about this. Do you know that Greenland Oh, is this a stupid video? I don't want nothing to do with it then. I got time for videos. Anyways, the story is the Greenland lost 1 trillion tons of ice in just 4 years, study finds. Well, excuse me. That kind of raises a lot of questions, doesn't it? Who did the study? This is according to new data from the European Space Agency. They from 2011 to 2014 or 2015, 1 trillion tons of ice have disappeared, and I guess Manhattan must be underwater by now. I guess Miami is underwater by now. Geez, Al Gore's place that he bought right on the water, who same guy that's been predicting all this high water, goes and buys a place on the water. And unfortunately, the water hasn't risen high enough yet because Al Gore is still breathing. And that's damned unfortunate. Yeah, okay, that's just another update there on Robin. Let's boot it back here to Globe and Mail. Here's another quick, interesting story. The only problem with all the ice melting on Greenland, the trillion tons of ice, I hope the polar bears, it's got to be damn hot to melt a trillion tons of ice. But I'm concerned the polar bears won't have any ice for their drinks, because I do know they like to party, and I would hate to think that there's no ice on Greenland because I worry about the bears. I ain't worried about the ice. I'm worried about the bears. There just seems to be more and more dumbass stories coming at us faster and faster every day. Oh, look at this, eh? Bernie Sanders' endorsement is a win for all. So count yourselves lucky, because Bernie, I understand, has thrown all his stuff to Hillary. He stands in the background of this picture with his head bowed like a beaten little dog. He did his part. And so all of this noise about Hillary being indicted in that, which I have been telling people since for whenever this got started, that she ain't getting indicted, that she is the next president of the United States. And the Bernie Trump show is just a carnival. And when the carnival's over, the queen bitch from hell will rise as president of the United States of America. Well, the United States of America ain't got nothing to do with America. So she ain't your queen. She ain't your president. She is, well, evil to the core. And if you want evil, then let her be. If you don't want evil, go brick that place up down there they call D.C. Now, this is rather interesting. We have a story here. Yesterday I saw a story that the Anglicans voted down same-sex marriage. And then today we get an update that that's not quite right. Apparently, now I don't know who made the phone call. Probably the United Nations made the phone call. Anglicans passed. Yesterday they turned it down in their vote, but today they passed it. Same-sex marriage resolution after a vote error discovered. Oh my goodness. Don't tell me the church is fixing the vote now. We can't have a church that's going against The pride, the pride, the pride. We can't have, even though the Bible says that it's an abomination, what do the churches care, right? I mean, they're on board with the one world religion. That means you're all going to be kissing the earth, Mother Earth's ass. Not the creator of the earth, but Mother Earth's ass. And by the way, Mother Earth, Gaia, is a hoe. Kind of like Hillary is a hoe. So, what the hell? I mean, it kind of goes together, doesn't it? Mother Earth, Gaia the hoe, and Hillary Clinton the hoe, running the planet. This is good news. Not. Questions about the integrity of the voting process, in which Anglicans narrowly rejected the resolution to allow same-sex marriage, emerged Tuesday, leading to a stunning reversal of the result that had caused anguish among many members. A few delegates to the six-day General Synod stood up just a couple of hours before the session was to close to say their votes had not been recorded during the voting late Monday, when passage of the resolution failed by a single vote. That is an issue of concern. Archbishop Fred Hiltz, primate, that would be a monkey of the church, responded, "We cannot have this synod with this kind of confusion. To pass the resolution required two-thirds approval by each of three orders, lay, clergy, and bishops. The clergy failed to reach that threshold by one vote, which is apparently not counted because it was wrongly attributed to a lay member. The error was only discovered after delegates requested a detailed hard copy of the electronic voting records. That's our reality," Hiltz told stunned delegates. That the motion is in fact carried in all three orders. He then declared the resolution in favor of same-sex marriage passed, and they all pulled out jars of Vaseline and had a happy evening at the church. Same-sex marriage in the church. In my lifetime, tweeted Lauren Monk of Halifax, "I'm so proud to be Anglican today." Even though in the Bible it says it's an abomination. But she's some damned happy to be Anglican today. I don't know what she would have done if they hadn't did a recount. Would she kill herself? I mean, what the what, eh? However, the resolution to change the church's marriage canon still needs to be affirmed by the next general synod in 2019 before it becomes law. This is ecclesiastical law, and the church runs the courts. All right? Because all this crap's out of Rome, and Rome is the first corporation soul, as far as I can see, and the Pope, is calling himself the Vicar of Christ, and therefore the corporate law, the canon law, right? It's canon law. Now we hear a lot about law of the sea and that, but you get looking around. They got so many different kinds of law. It's nuts, right? They just use whatever they want, wherever they want, whenever they want, to put through whatever they want. None of it's law. It's called the legal system. Okay? And the reason it's called the legal system is they can't call it law unless they stay within the law or the word, which is the law. It says, do not add to or take away from my word, which is the law. And therefore they have desperately, and therefore they can't even call it law, really. They're not in law. They're not of law. They're not surrounded by law. They are the legal system, and they called it law, which again is fraud. Let's see. On Tuesday, several bishops said they plan to go ahead with same-sex marriages regardless of the vote. So now you have the bishops who don't give a damn about the vote. It doesn't matter if the vote stands or it's pro or against. they're going to do it anyways. So, if the bishops won't follow their own laws, but then this looks like the legal system, doesn't it? Because the police can go and shoot the snot out of people and run them over and beat them up, set them on fire, rip their arms off, and they walk or they get desk duty and they get their paycheck and their pension, whatever. But you try doing the same thing, well, you got problems. They leaned on a statement from the Chancellor of the General Synod, who said that the current marriage canon does not specifically ban solemnizing same-sex marriages. Bishop John Chapman of Ottawa said he would proceed immediately with such unions in his diocese, although no one would be forced to officiate at such a ceremony. It's time, my friends, Chapman's saying, it's past time. He says, what he should have continued saying, he says, Jesus, come on, like what is this, okay? You know we're the evil buggers. You know we're Satan's little helpers. We got to get back to old Roman days, like when Martin Luther went there and was totally disgusted with Rome. Absolutely disgusted, and then pinned his problems on the door, which created the Reformation. Because what did he see in Rome? He saw naked little boys jumping on birthday cakes and stuff like that. Because these guys are diddlers. Okay? They're child abusers. Okay? And they like child sex. They like any kind of sex except normal sex. They're game for everything because they're not normal. Let's go down to the Abbey and do something abnormal. These people ought to be rounded up. And, I don't know, nail them suckers to a tree, too. We got to clean this up somehow. We got to clean this up. I don't know. These people, I think I tore pretty good at the Christians. I don't know what day it was, Saturday night, Sunday, I don't remember now. But these people are bent in the brain, man. These people are stupider than your average sheeple. I mean, they're absolutely stupider than 99% of the people on the planet. The illiterate are smarter than churchgoers. I mean, you got a book in your hand that tells you that this is an abomination, and you got the bishop saying, we don't care, we're going to go ahead with it anyways, even though it's an abomination, even though the vote didn't go our way, we're going with it anyways. Tells you what kind of people you're dealing with here. These are extremely sick people. Anyways, let's see what else we got here. It was indeed not over as the question rose Tuesday about the vote itself. And last night when I saw this, that the Anglican Church had voted down same-sex marriage, I thought, well, this could get interesting. Okay, because they're all members. The Anglican Church is a member of the World Churches, which are run by the United Nations, and with the United Nations, just say Vatican, same crap. How's this going to fly? Because they're all in agreement that they want to have a world religion, a multi-faith religion. How do you have a multi-faith religion? How do you tie the Islamic group and the Buddhist group and the Hindu group and the Christian group and stir it all into a big pot and come up with a world religion? You can't do it. It's like trying to stir legal and law together. They are totally separate. But they spin this crap like they're the same. We're all one. Well, we're not all one. Okay? And we're never going to be all one. Ever. That ain't going to happen. All hell may break loose in the process, but it ain't going to happen. We ain't all going to be one. And I ain't kissing Gaia's butt. She's a hoe. And I certainly ain't going to kiss Hillary's butt because, well, that's a hoe too. But this church thing is just amazing. Now, I don't know what these church people are thinking. I mean, one of them's really happy. Let's see. Oh, well, let's see this one. This is the best news I've heard in a long time, tweeted Marlene Wells from Nova Scotia. My weepy day has ended. So she was weeping because the vote was no same-sex marriage. Now she's jumping up and down going, let's celebrate. I'm flabbergasted, honestly, said Elliot Waddingham, 24, a transgendered person from Ottawa. Now, you can't be a transgendered person, okay? A person is a piece of paper. Piece of paper doesn't have no gender except maybe in Quebec, where they have male, female for pretty near everything. But generally speaking, a piece of paper is not gendered. So a 24-year-old transgendered person from Ottawa who had earlier spoken of being brokenhearted, I'm brokenhearted by what had happened. I can't believe this. He's so happy now. He wants to celebrate too. Not everyone, however, was pleased. Northern representatives complained about feeling bullied, no doubt. You got the entire United Nations up your ass. While Larry Robinson, Yukon Bishop, left the floor early Tuesday in protest, saying he was angered at what he called the adversarial process. Well, what is adversary? If you look up the word adversary, and our court system is an adversarial court system, and this is ecclesiastical law they're talking about here, which again is an adversarial process. It's a bullying process. But if you look up adversary in the dictionary, you will find adversary is Satan. Okay, so it's an adversarial process, absolutely, because the churches are satanic and the UN is satanic. Why do you think the world's all messed up like this? Hiltz acknowledged the deep differences that exist around the issue. We sometimes find ourselves very much being pulled apart. Hiltz told delegates, that's the bishop or whatever he is, archbishop, our work on this matter is not done. It's not sufficient for us to simply say we dealt with the resolution. He promised a pastoral letter in response by Thursday. While some fretted the issue would cause a rupture and spark an exodus of members, I hope so. That's what I said on the weekend. Get the hell out of the churches. Others said they believed the church would hold together despite the bruising nature of the debate, in which some used the terms such as, oh, here it is, as in the good book, abomination, in reference to the LGBT community. Well, if you're going to church, it is an abomination because it says so. These people can't procreate. This is all part of the depopulation program coming out of the UN. And the churches are up to their asses in it. So get the hell out of the churches. ASAP. No faster than that. Like now, right frickin' now. Hit the road, Jack. It was a painful process. Now, I don't know exactly what was painful. I thought you guys broke out the jelly before you get into your process, but apparently it was a painful process. It was a difficult process, but at the end of the day, we ended up moving forward. British Columbia Bishop Logan McNamee said, Toronto Archbishop Colin Johnson called same-sex marriages at the discretion of the bishop and with agreement of local clergy a logical step in the evolution of the church. Okay? Churches don't evolve. Okay? They got a book. Deal with it. Do not add to or take away from my law. Period. But they did. And when they did, they became tyrannical, is which they are. They're tyrants. I don't know when these church people are finally going to wake up to this garbage. I am confident it would be supported. I am confident it would be supported by the majority, even if not all of our bishops, clergy, laity, and the wider community agree. About 1.6 million Canadians identify themselves as Anglican, according to Statistics Canada, and church figures indicate that more than 500,000 of them are part of about 2,800 congregations across the country. Well, just go to world churches. You're going to find the Anglican Church. And the Anglican Church is in bed with the United Nations. Was this a satanic organization? But they feel they've moved forward. Good luck with that. And then down at the bottom of this page, here we have a picture of our Prime Minister, our latest puppet, who, it's a nice picture saying Justin Trudeau raises the pride flag parade on Parliament Hill. And there's a video here, and he's wearing a nice pink tie, and he's also a feminist. In the old days, used to have men and women, and, well, by God, it's getting more difficult all the time to find, one of those two genders. This is so messed up. Let me look at why this is a win for all. I know we got American listeners here. Let's go find out why Bernie Sanders' endorsement of Hillary Clinton is a win for all involved. And the story starts out, win, win, win. Tuesday's carefully staged mutual admiration event between former First Lady Hillary Clinton and the presumptive Democratic nominee aiming to return to the White House as his president, and Bernie Sanders, the self-styled socialist whose populist insurgency inspired a movement fed up with the ruling elites, amounts to a win for Mrs. Clinton, Mr. Sanders, and their Democratic Party. A win for Hillary after a protracted but not especially bitter campaign, certainly not as nasty as the Republicans, nor when she lost to Barack Obama 8 years ago. They call her Ms. Clinton. Now she's married to Bill. But here in the story, she's referred to as Ms. Clinton. Now what the hell's going on there? They get a divorce nobody knows about? Ms. Clinton can bask in the glow of Senator Sanders' unequivocal and only slightly belated endorsement. Getting the endorsement some 5 weeks after she locked up the nomination required some mostly symbolic shifting to the left by Ms. Clinton, as men and women who flocked to Mr. Sanders' surprisingly effective insurgency. Well, see, this is bad, because well-educated men and women, no mention whatsoever of the LGBTQI, XYZ groups, only well-educated men and women. So the LGBTQ group should be very upset about that, because I think Bernie had an awful whack of them following him. So they should be very upset. Ms. Clinton embraced a package of Mr. Sanders' campaign promises, backing a $15 an hour minimum wage, broader Obamacare coverage, and federal funding to cut college costs. None of them can be delivered without Congress, and thus Ms. Clinton promised only her political support and nothing that could come back to haunt her. By contrast, and despite her expedient shift against trade deals during the primaries, Ms. Clinton didn't budge on Mr. Sanders' demand that she formally oppose a controversial Trans-Pacific Partnership, and she will be free if she wins to flip-flop again. How is this a win for Bernie? I don't know. Let's go find out. In just over a year, Mr. Sanders has gone from a maverick independent, little known beyond Vermont and the capital, where he perched far out on the leftmost limb of American politics, to a widely respected household name whose honesty, decency, clean campaigning, and ability to play big league politics without relying on deep-pocketed donors made him the most widely respected presidential contender, even among those aghast at his social democratic leanings. The one time a red mayor of Burlington has forced the Democratic Party to re-examine its soul. It ain't got no soul, Bernie, and neither do you twit-ass. And prove that inspiring the political engagement among tens of millions doesn't require selling out to lobbyists. Oh, good God. And special interests. Thanks to the millions of people across the country who got involved in the political process, many of them for the first time. But Mr. Sanders' victory goes far beyond forcing the inclusion of some of his pet policies into the party's platforms. If Ms. Clinton wins, and especially if Mr. Sanders steps up, actively campaigns, it helps deliver those key blocks of young, well-educated Democrats with whom doubts about Ms. Clinton's integrity are strongest, then he can expect a reward. It almost certainly won't be a cabinet post, as Mr. Obama gave Ms. Clinton, but if the Democrats retain control of the Senate, then Mr. Sanders may have his pick of key positions. And it's a win for the Democratic Party. Yada, yada, yada. Mr. Obama asked former President Bill Clinton to formally nominate him at the 2012 Democratic National Convention as part of the political theater of unifying the party after the bruises of ill will. Has this got something to do with, I didn't read all of this. Anyways, it doesn't mention anything in here about, the world order. It doesn't mention anything in here about the Muslim influx. It doesn't mention anything in here about the BLMN. It doesn't mention anything here about the attempted gun grabs. It mentions nothing in here about the fact that, this is a Canadian newspaper, for crying out loud, and it doesn't say anything in here about the fact that Prime Minister Trudeau put the so-called taxpayer, I'll just call them the people, on the hook for $785 million, of which he stuffed into the Global Fund, and the Global Fund, through Muckety, is a direct funder of the Clinton Foundation. But our Canadian media doesn't, I guess, see any purpose in bringing stuff like that up. No purpose whatsoever. Let me see here. Anyways, if you want to read this stuff, I'm going to stick it in here. Only massive voter fraud can stop Trump. With this deal, the Democratic Party is now completely exposed to a relentless bashing by Trump. Trump has been demonized by the MSM on behalf of the oligarchs. However, the public will not be fooled. The real winner is Trump, because by leaving the race and joining Clinton, Sanders is now a spent force. His supporters will see this as a complete betrayal and realize that only Trump can stop Clinton. Well, I hate to break it to you, buddy, but Trump at one point supported Clinton. He even funded Clinton. But that would be just to get access so that he could run his businesses better, or the way he wants to. So, no. I would be I already said this. I said I would go buy me a hat and eat it if Hillary Clinton isn't the next president of the United States of America. Now, we see that we have a woman by the name of May who came out of frickin' nowhere. I don't know where they found her, in a closet someplace. I never even heard the name before. And all of a sudden she's I don't know if she has already been sworn in or not, but the next president of or Prime Minister of Britain. And we've got the mayor of London is Islamic, the mayor of Calgary, Canada, Alberta in Canada, is a Muslim. This is getting stupid. But what you're finding here is that, I don't know how many premiers in Canada now are female. It's nuts. Absolutely nuts. But this is to promote Gaia. That's what this is about. Okay? That's what the Lilith nonsense was about with those female singers way back when. It's all about Mother Earth. It's all about the hoe that could. The nice thing about the hoe that could, Gaia, if you study that at all, you find out that she only wakes up for a while. and then gets put back to sleep. And I think we are going to do this. I think the people are going to rise up. They are rising up, and I don't mean violently. They're rising up simply to say, piss off. We ain't putting up with all your nonsense anymore. That they're gonna pass some laws that are just going to choke you, so-called laws that are just going to choke you, because the idea is the destruction of the industrialized nations, the absolute takedown of the industrialized nations. And they say the pen is mightier than the sword, and the lawyers got that. And we've been lawyered to death. We've been lawyered into a corner. Everything that is ours has been stolen from us by the lawyers, by their pens. The only difference between the pen being stronger than the sword is when you have a government, the law is given to the lawyers. Okay, the lawyers write the laws. Okay, you look at the upper echelon of any government; it's all lawyers. And while they may not bring the bill forward, they're in charge of putting the legalese into it. Okay, and therefore you're run by lawyers, and they have the pen and paper, and they run the legal end of it. Now you would say, okay, that's fine. The pen is mightier than the paper. The pen is mightier than the sword. Well, yeah, because they hoodwink you. All right, instead of coming in and bashing you and do like they did in Rome, where you were a Northern slave, and they took you out to the rock pile, made you bust rocks all day. This way they do it. The other way, they coerce you into believing stuff that ain't true. They build these slave terms and slavery, and the chains, the so-called invisible chains, the legal chains, to enslave you. But then all governments give themselves the sole, or they give themselves the monopoly on force. So while you're being taken down by the pen of the lawyers, you also are facing the force of the police, whose sole job, and if you still believe, if you're still confused, the police's job is to protect the state. You ain't it, okay? You aren't the state, okay? You're being held in slavery to the state. You are a financial asset of the state, and you are surety for the debt of the state. If you think that all adds up to freedom, you're loony. There's no freedom in that. So you got the lawyers with the pens taking you down and enslaving you with the pen instead of the shackles, and you have the monopoly on force, which is there to make sure you don't get uppity, so they can beat you down or shoot your dog or your kid or your grandma, or generally beat the hell out of you. And they want you shooting at the police as soon as you can, and you can't do that. You can't go there. There's 310 million Americans. That's your land. You got a few pencil necks over in Washington and the state houses who have all sold their souls to the devil, which is the lawyers. Okay, because you're in an adversarial court system, which adversary is Satan by definition. Okay, that's who we're up against. And all we got to do is come to terms with that. Then we can deal with it. Right? This denial crap's got to stop. I mean, what do they call an apprenticeship attorney? What do they do when they go, in the old days when they went for their apprenticeship? It was called deviling, for crying out loud. An adversary is Satan. What's it take? It's a corrupt system of law, because it ain't law. They've turned you into a corporate asset and made you surety for the debt. Why would anybody put up with that crap? It's like somebody saying, hey, Bill, yeah, Jimmy, what's happening? Hey, man, I ordered a credit card. And yeah, that's good. I'm glad. Well, yeah, I put you on it as a surety, so I'm just going to go spend whatever the hell I want. You're on the hook for it. Well, that friendship's going to break up real quick. Nothing different from the government. They have an open-ended credit card, and you're on the hook for the debt. They spend whatever they want, whenever they want, and drive you as far into debt as they want, and you're on the hook for it. We just got to wise up a little bit. We don't have to wise up that much. A little bit would do. And then we go to work and we punch these guys back. And I don't mean we have to punch them back physically. We just simply explain to them we ain't going to put up with this crap no more. So after the show, I'm going to go, and I'm going to keep working on my letter here that's going out to the Attorney General's office and the Chief Justice and the Law Society. And we're going to get to terms with this, and we're going to be done with it. And that's all there is to it. I saw an interesting, just before I go, I saw an interesting video yesterday. I don't know if I got time. Let me see if I can go find this off my Facebook. It's on my Facebook, which is Rock Boat Radio. But there's a very interesting guy, looks like a total redneck. And I imagine he is. He has a very good message. It's basically the same message I and many other people have been putting out for a very long time. And that is they want violence. And what we can't do is give them what they want. That's the last thing we can do. Now, I don't know if I can get a link to this particular. I don't see it hooked over to Facebook. This is called Dat Dude. Let me see if I can get this off of Facebook. Or off of, see if there's a link over to, no, I can't get it. If I do find it, I'll stick it in the chat later. But his message is very clear. It's very simple. They have divided the people on purpose. And everything from the gays to the Black Lives Matter to the Islamic influx, all of from the open border on the south, all of those things are done on purpose. None of it's by accident. It's all done on purpose, well planned out, in order to divide and conquer the people. In other words, turn the people against each other and let them kill each other. Is basically what they would like to see. You got to rise above that nonsense. You got to rise way above that nonsense. Your neighbor is not your target. The gay guy down the street is not your target. Okay? Your target is those who created all this nonsense. That's your target. And if somebody can find out why Clinton is referring to herself as Ms. Clinton, maybe that's to distance herself from the Mrs. Clinton, who has been getting so much hassle from her emails and that. I have no idea. I always thought she was Mrs. Clinton. I don't know where the hell she's married to Bill, so you would think it would be Mrs. Clinton. I have no idea what that's cooking. But anyways, Hillary Clinton is your next president, and hopefully that inspires people to step up to the plate. I'm hoping that those Trump supporters keep a level head. They should be angry. The Republican base must be angry by now. I mean, Ron Paul let them down. And keep a level head. Everybody go back.
Selling lies and buying time, killing people next in line. Lower classes, social slime, they don't matter. Genocide, sick from water, sick from air. Making money, they don't care. Censorship, force of air. Fuck them back, it's only for they bomb. They shoot, they kill, they massacre, rape. They burn the kids. No one makes countries lie to your face, fight and die. Cause God forgives.
Truth on the Track